They met on a warm spring day, a chance encounter at a bustling farmer's market. He was charming, witty, and swept her off her feet with his infectious laughter. She was taken by his charisma, his genuine interest in her life, her dreams. Their love story unfolded like a fairy tale, filled with romantic gestures, shared laughter, and whispered promises. He brought her flowers, surprised her with weekends away, and listened intently to her every word. Their connection felt magical, a whirlwind romance that promised a lifetime of happiness. She had never felt so seen, so understood. He seemed to share her values, her hopes, her fears. He was her confidant, her rock, the missing piece she hadn't known she was searching for. They built a life together, a tapestry woven with shared dreams and aspirations. He proposed on a moonlit beach, the waves crashing gently against the shore, a symphony of nature serenading their love. Tears welled in her eyes as she whispered, "Yes," believing wholeheartedly that she had found her forever person. The first crack appeared subtly, a sarcastic comment disguised as humor. She brushed it off, attributing it to a stressful day at work. But the subtle digs became more frequent, the jokes more pointed, often aimed at her insecurities. He'd criticize her appearance, her choices, her friends, making her doubt her own judgment. She found herself apologizing more, trying to anticipate his moods, to tiptoe around his growing irritability. The man she loved seemed distant, replaced by a stranger whose words could cut like knives. He'd erupt in anger, his voice booming, his demeanor intimidating, leaving her trembling in his wake. The sweet nothings he once whispered were replaced with harsh criticisms and accusations. She clung to the memories of their early days, the love they had shared, convincing herself that this was just a rough patch, a phase they would overcome. The first time he shoved her, it was during an argument about something trivial. She fell back, hitting her head against the wall, a searing pain shooting through her. He immediately apologized, his remorse seemingly genuine, his eyes filled with tears as he swore it would never happen again. She wanted to believe him, desperately clung to the hope that this was an isolated incident. But the cycle of abuse had begun, the apologies followed by escalating violence, a terrifying dance of power and control. She found herself walking on eggshells, terrified of triggering his anger, her days consumed by anxiety and fear. The abuse wasn't always physical. It was a web of manipulation, isolation, and control. He'd isolate her from friends and family, monitor her phone calls, and control her finances, making her feel trapped and alone. One night, after a particularly brutal episode, she looked in the mirror and barely recognized the reflection staring back. Her eyes were dull, her spirit broken, her body covered in bruises, both visible and invisible. In that moment, something shifted within her. A spark of defiance ignited, a flicker of hope in the darkness. She realized that this was not love, that she deserved so much more than a life defined by fear and pain. She reached out to a trusted friend, her voice trembling as she shared her story for the first time. Her friend's response was immediate and unwavering, offering support, a safe place to stay, and a lifeline to resources she didn't know existed. Leaving was the hardest thing she had ever done, a leap of faith into the unknown. She was filled with fear, doubt, and a deep sense of shame. But with the support of her friend, a domestic violence advocate, and a therapist specializing in trauma, she began the long and arduous journey of healing. Therapy provided a safe space to process the trauma, to grieve the loss of the relationship she thought she had, and to begin rebuilding her life. She learned about the dynamics of abuse, the cycle of violence, and the importance of self-care. She connected with other survivors, finding solace and strength in their shared experiences. Healing from trauma is not linear. It's a journey with peaks and valleys, moments of immense strength interspersed with days of overwhelming sadness. But with each passing day, she grew stronger, her resilience blossoming like a flower pushing through concrete. She rediscovered her passions, her voice, her sense of self-worth. She learned to love herself again, to set healthy boundaries, and to recognize red flags. She found love again, not in another person, but in the fierce embrace of her own strength and resilience. Her story is a testament to the power of hope, the importance of seeking help, and the unwavering belief that love, true love, should never hurt.